Just ahead on American Black Journal, there's a new book out that promotes the important role African-American fathers have in their children's lives. We'll talk with one of the book's authors, who is a native Detroiter. Plus, there's a unique program in Ypsilanti that's helping to bridge the digital divide by connecting young people with senior citizens. We'll explain how it works when we talk with the founder and some of the students. That's all coming up next.
Lindsay wants to know.
So I'm curious, what's DTE Energy doing to improve their customer service?
Why don't we take a ride over there and let Rachel tell us? Hello.
Hello. Take a walk with me. Here at DTE Energy, we're working very hard to improve our service, like answering every call under 1 minute and resolving the issue on the first call.
Wow, no passing the buck, huh?
Nope. And plus, we're adding over 100 customer service jobs right here in the state of Michigan.
I need to get a real job.
I'm going to send your application.
Thanks, Rachel. DTE Energy. Know your own power.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. We often hear about children who grow up without their fathers present in the home and how that can have a negative impact on their lives. So there's a new book out that hopes to reverse that trend and encourage more men to become engaged and loving fathers. The book offers uplifting stories of African-American men who've guided their children to success. The book is titled Dare to Be Extraordinary, a collection of positive life lessons from African-American fathers. It's co-written by Leslie Gordon, who is a Chicago public relations executive and wife of the broadcast journalist and former host of this show, Ed Gordon. The other author is Bill Middlebrooks, a Detroit entrepreneur and community leader. We're pleased to have Bill here to talk about the book. Welcome back to ABJ.
Absolutely.
You are a guest from a couple of years ago.
Absolutely. It's when you were very supportive of our efforts with the 100 Black Men of Greater Detroit.
That's right. That's right. So you're back with another very community-minded project.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. And again, unfortunately, Leslie was unable to be here, but without Leslie, there wouldn't be this book.
Right, right. So tell me about the book. Where did the idea come from?
The idea for the book actually started when I was in high school. My father, who would have been 97 June 4th of this year, would always say to me, you know, son, the only difference between leading an ordinary life and an extraordinary life is your willingness to do the extra in everything that you do.
Right.
And that quotation really stayed with me. And as I matured from a young man into an older, more responsible individual and a father,
right.
It was a quotation that guided me. And that, along with my experience within the 100, when you spend time with young children who don't have the benefit of a father in their homes,
sure, or
a father in their life, or a positive male role model in their life. My kids are gone, the empty nesters, knock on wood.
They're doing well.
Yes, doing quite well. And it was important for me to honor the memory of my father and do something that went extra and tried to make a difference in what I call bending the curve, and we can talk more about that as we move forward.
Sure. And so you put this book together, which is really just a celebration, I guess, of fathers who are doing exactly what you say they should be doing.
Well, in our conversation in our community, African American men have a number of labels.
Yes.
Some of them are good, and some of them aren't so good, and some are earned, and some aren't. But you don't hear a regular discourse about African American men as being good fathers, being engaged fathers, and being present. And I thought, along with Leslie, that it was important that we tell a story and provide compelling testimony that African American men can, have been, and continue to be engaged, loving, supportive fathers in the lives of their children.
Right. So talk to me about some of the people who in the book, who I would know.
All right. There are 20 extraordinary men and women, both famous and not so famous. Famous because if we didn't offer famous people, a lot of people probably wouldn't want to read the book. We're enamored with celebrity. But then the not so famous, because those are everyday people that you wouldn't normally hear about, that are doing great things. But we've got some people from Detroit here, former Mayor Dennis Archer, Reverend Nicholas Hood III, his bride, Federal Judge Denise Page Hood, Ron Goldsberry from Detroit here, And then nationally, folks like Russell Simmons, Good Morning America anchor Robin Roberts, former Congressman Harold Ford Jr., and then some folks that you may not have heard of. For example, Dr. Velma Scantlebury.
Okay.
She's the first African-American female transplant kidney specialist in the country.
Okay.
Major General Marcia Anderson, first African-American female that attained the rank of Major General in the Army. And least, and I forgot this one because she's a Detroiter,
Right.
is Rosalind Brewer.
Right.
Roz is the president and CEO of Sam's Club.
Right.
And so we've got an extraordinary list of accomplished men and women that have done some phenomenal things in their lives, and all influenced by their fathers.
And influenced by their fathers. And
Absolutely.
that's why it's a book of men and women.
Right.
They're talking not about how to be fathers, but the influence that their dads had on them.
What we did is we explored the relationship and the impact that their father had on them to put them on a path
To make them
excellence.
who they are.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So talk to me about this bigger picture. That you talk about this bending
the curve. All right. Well, the book is hopefully a platform to do that. The book is to help provide a roadmap and a testament that, you know what, we can do this and we need to do this, and maybe as a rallying cry. But this concept of bending the curve, this is what Leslie and I are trying to focus on, not only here in Detroit, but across the country in terms of forums that we want to try and sponsor. And that is, I was born in Detroit in 1960. The United States Census figures said for father-absent homes, all right, for white children that lived in father-absent homes, that number was 8% of the population.
Okay.
In
1960.
In 1960.
Right.
For African-American children, that number was 31%.
Okay.
Let's fast forward to 2010. Same census report, same analysis. White children, it's 21%.
Right.
For African-American children, it's 57%.
Yeah.
In 2013, it's probably over 60%. That is immoral, it's wrong, and we've got to do something to bend that curve. I'm not naive enough to think that in my lifetime that I have left, that, you know, we're going to make a dramatic shift in that.
Right.
But if we can bend that curve from going like this to something like this, or albeit going down, then, you know, my time on earth has been useful.
But and what is it that you think? I mean, you could probably write a doctoral thesis on on the reasons that those numbers went up, and it's important to note that they didn't just go up in the African American community, as you point out. They tripled, almost tripled among white Americans as well. But what is in your mind some of the sort of key levers there that you can pull to bend that back? In other words, what are the things that are making that problem worse that we need to attack?
Well, here's the thing. As you know, as a member of the 100, our motto is what they see is what they'll be.
Right.
And so this book, this campaign, is an effort to have more African-American men, women, and more importantly, children, see African-American men engaged in the lives of their children. You don't have to be, you know, married to your child's mother.
Right.
There could be some, you know, drama between the two of you all. But that's not the kid's fault.
That doesn't have anything to do with you as a father.
Absolutely.
Right.
Your responsibility, and that's what you see with these 20 individual men that we profile, all right? They all come from diverse backgrounds economically, educationally, but they had one thing in common, Stephen, and that was we're going to be involved in our children's lives.
Right.
They're our children, we're responsible, and you see the results.
Right.
These are 20 extraordinary men and women that have learned great lessons from their fathers.
Right. And when you say engaged, I mean, I think that a lot of people, that word is intimidating to a lot of people. In other words, they feel like you're saying, well, you got to do all these things that maybe I don't have time to do, or things that I don't have money to do.
Okay.
But I've always thought, you know, engagement as a dad means a lot of different things, and it doesn't mean anything about money.
Right.
It does mean time.
Sure.
But it's not this high pressure. These are the things you have to do. It is about building that relationship with your kid.
It's about talking to them. It's about being there for them. It's about trying to demonstrate to them that no matter what's going on in their lives, they have the ability to count and depend upon you for being there for whatever that, you know, occasion might be. And so I'm a fan of saying, you know, a lot of people talk about, you know, I want to spend quality time with my children. I say that's bunk. You need to spend a quantity of quality time with your children, because there's a difference. And that payoff is extraordinary sons and daughters. And that's what our community needs.
Right.
And that's what, you know, this book and these lessons that these 20 extraordinary men have provided for their sons and daughters.
Right. You mentioned that it doesn't matter if you're married to the mother of your children, you still can be involved. But it does seem, though, like one of the big problems, one of the big drivers here is that decline of marriage. And that's not just among African Americans, that's American society.
Absolutely.
Is that a place that we need to sort of emphasize too, that marriage matters in the family unit?
Well, I am a big proponent of marriage, because I'm, you know, going to be celebrating on, you know, the 30th of this month, my 29th wedding anniversary. But our stories, if you look at them, not everybody had a Cliff and Claire Huxtable or a Ozzie and Harriet existence, all right? My own parents divorced when I was in high school. But I never felt that my father wasn't there. I spoke with my father every day. I saw my father literally every weekend, okay? And my parents never put me in between their stuff.
Whatever it was, right.
Never did my mother or my father denigrate one another in my presence, all right? And so they were
still a team.
They were still a team,
right.
And it was, when you're with your mother, you need to do what your mother tells you to do,
right.
And vice versa. And so what I say to men, no matter what your relationship is, you don't have to be married, but you have to be a father.
Right, you still got to step up and do those things.
Absolutely. And what we hope to do is not only with the book, but with our website, which is at www.extraordinaryfathers.com. It's not enough just to tell fathers you need to be engaged, you need to be more responsible. We need to support them.
Support them,
and
right.
So in that website, Stephen, we have a number of free resources, you know, from counseling service, from medical, from legal, for financial, that, you know, men and women can draw upon.
To learn and...
Absolutely,
right.
Absolutely.
All right, great to have you here. Wonderful book, and good luck building it into an actual movement.
I appreciate your support. Thank you very much. All right.
Just ahead on American Black Journal, what happens when you combine young people, senior citizens, and computers? We'll tell you about a successful program that places children and teens in the role of teacher. That's coming up next. A program in Ypsilanti is proving that everyone can learn no matter what their age. Residents at a senior citizens facility are learning to use computers, and their tutors are youths ages 8 to 17. The young people also learn how to build and repair computers. The program is run by a nonprofit organization called Behavior Workshop. Joining me now is Tyrone Bridges, who's the founder and program director, along with 13-year-old Shy Swinton and 14-year-old Tyree Bridges, students in the Ypsilanti Community Schools. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you for having us.
So this sounds like such a cool program. Like the idea of kids sitting there teaching adults how to use computers addresses, you know, multiple problems all at the same time, right?
Right. I never imagined it myself, but these group of kids have, including my son here, actually taking this program.
Is that your son? I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah.
He not only has almost your name, but he looks like you, right?
Yes. But the program, it's a pretty good program. It's a program, it's an intergenerational youth program where the students lead the program, and they actually started by fixing the computers that was at the senior facility that were down. It was 6 of them down. They fixed 4 out of 6, and then they decided to start the computer training program so the seniors could actually get involved, get connected to the web, find family that they haven't found, and just really enjoy life better than they had before.
Right. So you're teaching kids how to repair computers.
Yes.
Is that something that, I mean, it's not something that most people would think kids are able to do, right?
Right, right. Repairing computers, it's no real art to it, especially the hardware. The hardware is not a very hard to figure out. Once when you've seen one, you've seen them all, basically.
Right, right.
And kids, they learn so fast, and we want to give them an opportunity to explore anything that they want to in technology.
Right. And so, but then you have to teach them how to teach, right?
Right,
teach them
right.
how to teach older people to use the computers.
Right, and actually, as you know, kids actually learn faster than we do.
Well, yes, they do a lot.
And they not only help the seniors with the computers, they help them with their cell phones and their iPads, laptops, and how to connect
Right.
online and everything. So it's a fast-growing technology, and the kids grow fast with them.
Yeah. So Shai, tell me about how this program has been, and what have you learned while you've been doing it?
I learned what things are inside computers, and
like what? What is inside a computer? I actually don't really know. I mean, I use a computer every day, all day at work, and I don't really know how they work.
There's a motherboard, a hard drive, a power device.
Uh-huh. And so you learned how these things all interact to let me use Microsoft Word or whatever on my screen.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's it like interacting with the senior citizens?
It feels nice to help senior citizens because some of the people don't have family to visit them. Right,
right. And so you're their contact with the outside world. Tyree, you're working with your dad in this program. How did you come to be interested in it?
Over the years, he used to take me to all sorts of places, like around Gilbert's. We help seniors how to use computers there also.
Uh-huh.
And that's probably it.
Yeah. So tell me about working with the seniors, though. That's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that brings joy to me because some seniors don't even have the opportunity to do that around their lifetime.
Yeah, yeah. And here we're sort of bridging that digital divide. I mean, you see that very pronounced with the senior citizen population. A lot of them don't have access. I know that from my own mother, who's 70 years old. We bought her an iPad for her 70th birthday last year, and there's a lot of interaction that you just need to get her to use it.
Right, and a lot of our newspapers and everything has been cut out, so a lot of seniors don't have a way, and also low-income families, they don't even have a way of finding out what's going on in the news. Say if there's a federal program that was available to help low-income families, senior citizens, and disabled residents, the public wouldn't really know, or the seniors, like in the senior facility, they would never know because they don't have that access to technology like most people would.
Right.
So that right there is like our biggest concerns, getting information to them that they need.
Right. And for the kids, this is not part of the curriculum in the school.
No.
But maybe it should be, right?
Right. This program, like I said, it came about by them. They put it together and decided to, this is something that these seniors really need, and we want to do it. Get them on Facebook, Twitter, all of that. So I'm just there basically documenting and videotaping and just enjoying them doing what they do.
Right. What's that like with right now? I mean, Ypsilanti is a place that's not like Detroit exactly, but it's a place where we have a lot of needs, especially among young kids. I would imagine that a program like this really fills a need in their lives.
Yes, yeah. At-risk youth it's more at-risk youth that we can imagine that are in desperate need for positive direction. The kids in our streets, in our community, a lot of them aren't doing the positive things versus the kids here in this CAPS program. And we're trying to give them opportunity and also show that you can teach a senior or you can teach someone older than you something positive as well.
Right. So Shai, tell me about your favorite thing that's happened since you started this program.
My favorite thing is meeting people and teaching them how to use things that they have never used before.
And what about Tyrone says you guys came up with this program and it's sort of your thing. How's that interacting with the other kids in your school in a group that you are leading?
They're missing out on all this all the fun.
The kids who are not involved are missing out on all the fun. How many kids are in the program?
It's a total of 6 right now that's in the program, and they've been the most dedicated ones in the program. And we're actually stretching out to get more kids. A lot of more kids are finding out that this is an opportunity that I'd love to be involved in.
Right. And the seniors, you're going to senior centers around Ypsilanti too.
Yes, yes. Currently, Melvin T. Walls Manor Senior Facility. One of the students actually taught the scrub nurse, the head scrub nurse, for the first open heart surgery in the U.S. And she was blessed by that. So,
yeah, right, right.
It's a blessing into a blessing.
So is this, Tyree, is this something that you think you might want to do as an adult? I mean, how interested are you in computers as maybe a career?
It's a really good thing because
It's okay. Take your time.
You come back to me.
Okay, we'll come back to you. I mean, I would imagine that that's got to be something you're thinking about too, is that this is a career opportunity for the kids, you know, to learn this at this age. It's almost something they have to learn, right?
Right, right. Our program right now, like I said, it's a nonprofit organization. We have problems with getting funding. A lot of funding is not available. And by the kids being 13 years old and younger than 13, you know, we have to find some type of funding source to help this program go along, because we could start one at every facility, in every senior facility in the city of Ypsilanti and probably abroad.
Yeah. Where does the funding for this come from?
We have had some funding from the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation, Walmart, Sam's Club, Myers. Also, we have had donations given to us by Finesse and Company, which done Shy's hair.
Okay.
And also a lot of the local businesses, Hobbs and Ypsilanti, they provide us meals, Sidetracks, Happy's Pizza on Washtenaw in Ypsilanti, Domino's Pizza, and also Full House. A lot of people providing us meals and things like that, but we do need funding to run a program like this and have more beautiful kids that can actually.
Right. Well, and you need equipment to work on,
Yes.
and to show the seniors on, and things like that too.
Right.
Where does the equipment come from now?
Well, actually, we have seniors actually bringing equipment into us, parts from computers. We had a senior that brought in like a ton of computer parts and say, could you put me one together? And our students put one together in 20 minutes. So that's how we get parts. People donate parts to us. Not new ones, but they donate used ones, and they still be able to be used.
Yeah. Shy and Tyree, what do you feel like you learn from the seniors? I mean, you're teaching them how to use computers, but they're people who've been around a lot longer than you have. Tell me about some of the things you feel like you're learning from them.
I'm learning like older things in history that they have went through, and like what they was doing when they were younger. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're talking to them about other things while you're fixing their computers. It's not just about the computers; it's about life, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Tyree?
It's good to help them with the computers, and we also like to help connect to Facebook, and they can keep in touch with their families.
Yeah, I mean that's a big deal. I'm still trying to get my mother onto Facebook. She's skeptical of it. She thinks somehow it's an invasion of her privacy. But for a lot of older people, that's a good way to keep track of your family and your friends, and when you can't be near them.
Right. They've also helped a resident that had a stroke. And her mobility has improved since they've been working with her on using the mouse and doing typing programs. So they do a lot more than actually that they really realize right now. At such a young age, kids don't know the impact of their
teaching.
Yes, and then also what they're receiving from the seniors. They're receiving a lot more right now than they've ever received, you know, especially in the summertime. Usually kids want to go have fun.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I mean, summer seems like this would be the perfect program for the daytime for when they don't necessarily have as many other things going on as they used to.
Right.
Yeah. What's been the reaction of the schools? I mean, are the schools at all interested in this program? Or?
Currently, the Ypsilanti Public Schools are merging to the Ypsilanti Community Schools.
Right.
And we have a very supportive person that's been with us. He's the superintendent of the entire school district. His name is Scott Menzel. He's been communicating with me via email, helping us out. I think they really have a real good charge about this program because these kids are showing other kids how to be leaders.
Right.
And how to do things independently on their own.
Yeah, it's a good modeling inside the school. I mean, I would think that would be something they would maybe look at incorporating into the school curriculum, or at least into extracurriculars.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. Good work, guys, on this program and working with the seniors. And good luck to you.
Appreciate you for having us.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. We'd love to hear what you thought about today's program and get your ideas for future shows. So connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll see you next time on American Black Journal.
Lindsay wants to know.
So I'm curious, what's DTE Energy doing to improve their customer service?
Why don't we take a ride over there and let Rachel tell us? Hello.
Hello. Take a walk with me. Here at DTE Energy, we're working very hard to improve our service, like answering every call under 1 minute and resolving the issue on the first call.
Wow, no passing the buck, huh?
Nope. And plus, we're adding over 100 customer service jobs right here in the state of Michigan.
I need to get a real job.
I'm going to send your application.
Thanks, Rachel. DTE Energy. Know your own power.